Check, check. Are we on? Are we on? Everybody is on, and we're on everybody. All right. Thank you guys for being here. This is Julian. I'm giving you guys a little bit of a heads up on what's going on. So, if you didn't know, for 6 years, France has been having a revolution. I don't know if my phone works with all this bullshit because there's just so much bullshit on a phone. But I'm gonna give you guys a little like glimpse of what I was watching all day. Can you see this? Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but that is from today. I'm speaking English for this entire show. You're welcome. So, for all my American English speaking friends, we really have to realize it's been going on for 6 years. So, you guys are a little bit late. That's all right. Your government doesn't like you. And the American government's been censoring all the Gilets jaunes for so long. Let's go and see what's up.
Il faut venir les camarades, il faut reprendre les ronds-points, il faut virer Macron et sa clique. Il nous prépare une saignée sociale. Il faut venir sur les ronds-points, il faut venir manifester, n'ayez pas peur, avec ou sans gilets jaunes, avec vos convictions. On est les Français. On va foutre cette racaille de merde dehors. Ils nous piquent tout notre fric. Ils sont en train de détruire notre vie. Il faut se défendre. Défendez-nous, les camarades. Venez nous rejoindre.
Et je rajoute, il n'y a pas que les ronds-points et attendre l'année prochaine de fêter l'anniversaire. Je signale qu'on se retrouve par secteur, les Gilets jaunes, dans tous les secteurs de Gironde. Il y a des gens qui se retrouvent régulièrement, qui font des actions auprès des sorties de magasins et des choses comme ça. Donc venez nous rejoindre.
Okay, so we're speaking English here, and I give you guys the subtitles. Basically, they said we need to take over the rond-point. Do you know what a rond-point is? No, it's a cross street. So you have like this big cross street. I'm sorry none of y'all speak French. It's a shame. I'm fucking by myself here. But I hope Facebook doesn't take the F word and X out this video. This video is just me describing that none of y'all saw 6 years of the French Revolution. Number 4. First one, 1789. Second one, 1830. Third one, 1848. November 18th in 2018, there was what I call a revolution. And in France, the people decided to say, you know what? This president, he's a Rothschild banker. He's a douchebag. He has none of our best interests at heart. And what the president basically tried to do was to gather all the complaints and grievances from all of France in one place. And Louis XVI before that did the same thing. So what you have is the French president, Emmanuel Macron, was for 8 years the minister of economy. And when he came in, the first thing he did was like raise up taxes on the average Joe. So because of that, the average Joe hit the streets. And by hitting the streets, the average Joe basically proved that we don't need to wait very much longer to achieve freedom. And what freedom are French people looking for? They're looking for pouvoir d'achat, which in English translates to power of purchase. They're looking for le RIC, le référendum d'initiative citoyenne, the referendum of citizen initiative. And they're looking for, number 3, the right to vote the president out by this referendum of initiative citoyen. So there we go. I got some people tuning in. Shout out to my people. We basically have a giant mess where no one's listening to anybody. So you have French people who are saying, we've had enough. It's been 6 years. There's been no terrorism. I'm just going to say it in English. I mean, there's none. Not a single French gilet jaune that I have ever seen has destroyed anything. And when they show you broken footage of stuff, they're kind of accentuating the few exceptions to the rule of a passive protest. So let me give you guys a glimpse of les gilets jaunes. I'm going to type this in for you. Les gilets jaunes. I'm going to teach all the Americans to do what y'all should have done 6 years ago when your government said they're a bunch of thugs breaking shit, because they were not. And you were lied to, just so you know. Here we are. So I didn't type it in. I typed it in. Okay, so I typed it in. Are we sharing? We're sharing. Okay, good. So I type it in. We go to filters. We go to upload date. And here you have today all of these Gilets jaunes updates. These are all from a couple hours ago. What do you guys see? Do you guys see terrorists? Do you guys see bombs? Do you guys see like murders and shit? No. Why are they all in the street? Why has it been so long that they all went in the street? So let's go back up and just click one. What goes on when you click these things? So just so you know, it's kind of fucking boring. I mean, let's do it. Okay, so I don't want to bore people to death. I'm just explaining, like, this is not terrorism. This is peaceful protest. And six years later, I applaud all these people who have been in the streets, all my French people, all the frogs out in the world out there. Thank you. Thank you for keep holding it down. And when you see these images, do you see like thugs? Because I've been watching for 6 years now on YouTube, and I went to France. I met quite a few people, and I believe that we've been hijacked in France by a European idea of, oh, this is great, everybody just join Europe. And in the end, you're left with no sovereignty. And France used to be famous for being the attic, like le grenier de l'Europe. It used to be like the granary of all of Europe. Like we had saucisson and bread and millions of things that were really good for you. Well, maybe people don't eat gluten anymore, but French people don't have glyphosate. So the gluten in France is even good for you. So when you go and you see these glimpses of people, I dare you call them violent. Like, okay, let's put the sound back on. What do they look like? Okay, so that was over. So we have shown you guys a little bit of footage. I highly encourage you to Google it. But the irony of it is, if you're an English-speaking person within America, you won't be told that this is a 6-year ongoing conflict, because the average, I won't call him the pleb, but the average Joe cannot afford to eat. I can relate. He cannot afford to like buy his house and pay for rent and switch his car to a Tesla because it's more fucking sustainable. French people have had it up to here 6 years ago, and they have chopped no heads, but don't tempt them. I don't know what to say. Like, if they brought back the guillotine, who would you send there? You. Would you send Trump or Kamala or, you know what? Both of them at the guillotine? That's probably the only way to solve this crisis. So, okay, so you chop off all the puppets' heads, and then you're left with what? A bunch of headless puppets. So what are we left with? The people, the ex-colonizers, the controllers, the technocrats who just want more for them and less for everybody else. I'm sorry I asked a quote from George Carlin, but I'm not sorry to quote George Carlin. I'm just sorry I didn't make that quote up myself. So you have the people who are rich, who want more for them and less for everybody else. But there's nothing wrong with being rich. What's wrong is using that richness to deprive people the access to success. And then we're stuck with this whole, why are people wearing this ugly jacket thingy? Okay, so let's come back to it. So November 18th, 2018, we had the first Gilets jaunes rond-point. I may have to like show this to people because no one believes anything I say anyways. So let's go Gilet. So you guys want to follow me? Let's do it. Let's follow me here. Oh, share screen, follow. Tell me I'm not doing this to show you my steps here. Here we go. Gilet jaune. And then we're going to type in November 18th, 2018. I feel like people are just going to get mad at me if I don't do this. So let's do it. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay. Click.
French officials say over 250,000 people across the country took part in protests against rising fuel taxes over the weekend. The rallies by the Gilets jaunes, or yellow vests, have been largely peaceful, although there have been clashes with police in some places and over 100 people have been arrested. The protests have drawn support from the left and right of the political spectrum. The protesters are the French who work, who pay taxes, who never ask for anything, who never demand anything, and who say today, stop, we can't stand this any longer. In a reference to the French Revolution, the left-wing France Insoumise party hailed the power of the people over monarchs. while the right-wing Republican Party tweeted its hope that the president would correct the mistake and stop raising taxes.
Well, nothing has been done. Taxes have been raised. People went out in the streets during the retirement protest as well, and then during the vaccines, and then during the green pass, les anti-pass. And from what I heard, I think there was Doc à l'Ouest, or whatever. French speakers won't be on this podcast in English anyways. So there's a guy who's a doctor, and he said what the Gilets jaunes were a class struggle. All the middle to lower middle class can't afford to eat, can't afford gas, can't afford to basically live. So what we're stuck with is the class struggle. The upper middle class and upper class don't care at all about the Gilets jaunes at the very beginning. And then when it became the vaccination pass, or the vaccines themselves, which is controversial, I don't care. They basically like upper class. And then when it became like people can't, let me take out my camera for a second. Sorry, my connection's kind of low. So I'm gonna take the camera out for like 2 seconds. Hope y'all can still hear me. Basically, the third tier is when they did the pass, whether if you had a vaccination or not. Okay, I'm back. What the anti-pass, if you call them that, are people who did not want to take a pass in Europe called the green pass. You could Google it, and they try to implement this mark of the beast agenda, where if you didn't have a green pass, you couldn't take the train, because that means you're not vaccinated and you might give someone COVID. How many people here that listen to this have already had it? I guess I probably had it a few times. My connection's coming and going. It's cloudy outside. I can't use the camera when it's so low because it won't work later in the replay. Sorry about that. À la technique. They call it in French the technique. So anyways, the technology is working now. So as a person who's wearing this thing, what am I doing it for? That's a good question. It's a good question. It's been 6 years, and I mean, there's no reason not to, right? So I think it's good to know that, you know, we're not alone. I mean, oh, is that enough? Is that not enough? These are all people walking in the streets, and so it is interesting to see like how many glimpses of this life we could be like ignoring. And then if it's real and it's going on, then why aren't we like joining hands? And so the question is, why am I wearing this thing? And like, what difference will it make? Sorry, I'm like one of those assholes on the phone. I'm trying to find a video of this. And so here's a cop talking to a Gilet jaune. If they're terrorists, why does this happen? Oh, where's the fucking, sound? You can see, like, you could definitely tell that officers walk up to cops with a megaphone and say, "Hey, lover boy," and they give him like a nice smile. These motherfuckers are not terrorists, but if you look at the news, everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're about to behead little old ladies." Good luck convincing me that 80% of France is a bunch of fucking thugs. So we have the French president. I'm going to take my camera off for a second. We have the French president who's been lying to people about gathering grievances up until Notre Dame. So if I have to show you guys Notre Dame, let's do it. Do you remember Notre Dame de Paris, the big ass church in the middle of Paris in the Quartier Latin, in the Latin quarters? Sure, it's still there. Incendie. You know how it's spelled? Fire. There we go. Incendie. Boom, boom, boom. I'll give you guys my footsteps, because if I don't leave breadcrumbs, people will think I'm way too smart for everyone else. This is not about being smart, people. Look at this. What is this? Why? Why did this have to happen? So why did this have to happen? That's Notre Dame in flames, by the way. The reason Notre Dame had to go up in flames was that the French president, on that same exact day, did not want to answer the Gilets jaunes. So if you guys don't believe me, let's do this. Let's do this. What was it called? It was called Le Grand Blabla. Le Grand Débat. I can't spell the president's name. Emmanuel Macron. Maybe it's because he's like He's evil, so I never tried to spell his name before. Okay. Do you understand what I'm doing here? Is this over your heads? Like, I don't know, but so what you're hearing here is
parle déjà depuis presque 6 heures avec les élus.
so basically, like, this is when Emmanuel Macron, the French president, joined all the mayors of France to try to like do this big fake debate where like allegedly everybody's gonna be happy afterwards.
Mobilière, vous avez fait un cadeau d'1 million aux 100 Français les plus riches.
C'est pour moi pas du tout un tabou ni un totem. Mais faut pas raconter des cracks, hein. C'est pas parce qu'on remettra l'ISF comme il était il y a 1 an et demi que la situation d'un seul gilet jaune s'améliorera. Ça, c'est de la...
Ooh, okay. So he said it's not because we put the taxes back to where they were a year ago that a single gilet jaunes situation will be better. And I'm like, huh? So he was talking like that for a long time. The day of his debates culminating, the Notre Dame de Paris, the very church that we've all been to as kids, or, you know, you ever seen Quasimodo? Quasimodo, you know, the bell. That's Notre Dame. Notre Dame for a cigarette went up in flames. You guys see it earlier? These are not little flames. These are huge. And a cigarette, after thousands of years of French people and their fucking cigarettes, one of them lit up Notre Dame. Ce n'était pas une galloise. It was not the gitane. It was not like a little baby woman cigarette that's all skinny. I don't know if you call it gitane. It's a small cigarette. It was not it must have been a Marlboro. It must have been America. I don't know. But what you have is no one ever answered the gilet jaune. Ever. It's been 6 years, guys. Have you guys ever seen like Occupy Wall Street or like Black Lives Matter? Where the fuck are they today? I don't really like either one, but that's my personal opinion. You don't have to watch the show. The Gilets jaunes, I don't know why I like them. Honestly, like, maybe it's because I'm human still. Maybe it's because I'm one of them. Maybe it's because it doesn't matter if you even speak French. Y'all should go get you one of these at Goodwill and put it on. Just see what it looks like. Go for a jog. Just pretend you're a jogger. You want to get hit by a car. Like, tell yourself this thing is a color. That color says emergency, emergency, emergency. I forget what song that is. So we have to realize that there's been people in France calling and crying out for help internationally, saying their government has taken them hostage and they're now being like told to not eat, not buy gas, told that they should have had better jobs, told that no one cares about them. And in the end, the only thing we can really do is count the days before people bring back the guillotine. So since I'm not that funny and my job isn't to be a comedian, I would like to laugh a little bit. And this laughter comes from a sense of there's been so many people peacefully walking in France that, like, I mean, I don't know. You guys don't believe me? It just seems like I pulled out 2 random clips and made a whole show. I don't know. I'm not going to bore you too much, am I? No, this one's cool. This one's cool too. They're all really cool. I mean, I don't know. This is live. They've been going at it for fucking 24 hours and no one's killed anybody. So you tell me who the fuck is a terrorist. I get a little bit mad when I think of myself as like a human pacifist who keeps getting like pushed in with people who are angry, as if I'm going to get angry because of that. People are angry because they can't eat, wouldn't you? So me, who hasn't really eaten that much last couple months because where I'm at in life, I don't have much money. Like, I wonder, like, if a whole entire nation only had crumbs and they wanted the baguette. Have you guys ever heard of the French Revolution? Yeah, let's Google some French Revolution stuff. I got 5-10 more minutes, you know, like y'all could ride this wave with me, but it's called La Révolution Française, and it's a film from 1990 something, and it's a great film, and there's subtitles. So here you go. Let's go where they get the king out of Versailles because they were hungry, and y'all told them what? You told them just like wait, and then boom, you start doing this repression where you go into crowds and you beat people up. I mean, it gets scary, dude. So yeah, I mean, basically The reason we killed the king is this. Let me show you. The reason we chopped off some dude's head in like 1789 is because of this. They told the people to open fire.
Dispersez-vous dans le calme. Vous me connaissez, vous pouvez me faire confiance.
So, okay, that guy was Marquis de Lafayette, I think, in the film. That's who he's supposed to be. And so he's like, you could trust me. And they're on this famous battlefield called Le Champ de Mars. On this battlefield, basically, they all stood and protested. And this is what the cops did in 1789.
Rejoins-nous, Lafayette. Alors, nous te ferons confiance. Ne m'obligez pas à employer la force. Traite, tu n'oserais pas.
The subtitles might not help most of you. So he says, hey, Lafayette, if you join us, then we'll all be in peace. And Lafayette's like, oh, don't how dare you. Don't make me use violence. And this is what happens next. This is why when they chopped the king's head off, French people had no remorse at all.
Messieurs, armes au point. En joue. Au-dessus des têtes. Feu! Feu! C'est pour nous intimider! Et tirez blanc! Rechargez! En joue!
Car vous êtes des citoyens comme nous.
Now we're getting somewhere. Why? Why didn't the guards not shoot? Oh, just so you know, they shot and they killed hella people. It was murder. It was just straight, just bad. You want to see it? All right, fuck it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the children. Y'all have to put the kids to sleep. Let's do it.
Vous ne tirez pas sur des gens désarmés, sur vos frères.
Feu! 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 Arrêtez! Arrêtez! Cessez le feu! Feu!
So I just made everybody leave. There was like 4 people, fucking everybody left. Thank you guys for indulging with me. The French Revolution is hard for people. I'm so sorry. I lost all the people looking except for one, and I think I know who it is. So thank you for continuing to watch my show. Basically, on the Champ de Mars, on this war field of Mars, I don't really know who the other 3 people were. Apparently, they can't handle France. I'm fine. So anyways, I was just showing you guys like why Robespierre said, no, we're going to kill the king and we're going to kill Marie Antoinette and we're going to kill the Dauphin. And so they started chopping heads, dude. The guillotine does not go backwards. And what's funny is we're at this point in life where like we have to realize there is some serious poop in the air. And people were like, nah, it doesn't stink. It doesn't stink. Y'all should have gone to school. That's what my dad said. That's what Macron said. I guarantee you there's a lot of French assholes who think that all the Gilets jaunes are just retarded and should have gone to school. Maybe that's why I'm one of them. I don't know. Je ne suis qu'un blaireau. I am just, I don't know how to say a blaireau in English. I'm just like a self-taught idiot. Idiot savant, maybe. But idiot savant for what? Like, the world's never going to change. And like, the more I look at these videos, the more I'm like, dude, it's so funny. Like, there's like, not only does no one care, people are actively trying to just look the other way and pretend that. So here you see the Gilets jaunes who are supposed to be terrorists, breaking down shit, killing people. Oh my God. This guy makes me laugh. I think it's funny. I mean, what's funny? What's funny is we're told they're like vicious thugs, violent, angry, gonna come like do stuff. I'm like, none of these people are violent. You got to realize they're lying to you. And if you haven't realized that yet, man, I have to tell you about the Easter Bunny, 9/11, and Santa Claus. But if you don't want to hear me talk about that, then Google it. I'm sure you find some data, some research someone else did on it. I'm really excited that when I talk about this, people are like, oh, what is it? I want to learn more. Well, if it took you 6 years to ask that questions, come on over. Let's talk, because I'd love to teach you more. But teach you more about what? You think I'm going to go chop some heads? No. And what happened with the French Revolution was the people got so hungry and fed up with being told to just wait that they walked to Versailles and they pooked the king and they said, you're coming with us. And they brought him back to Paris. Did you know that? They try to keep the king in Paris. They kept him near the assembly. He was part of all the like debates and stuff. And what they did was they installed a monarchie constitutionnelle, like a constitutional monarchy, where like the king had some kind of checks and balances to his power. The sovereignty emanated from him still, but he was put in check by the parliament or Congress or something like that. So what happens next is two entities happen: le Comité de Salut Public et le Directoire. And man, they started chopping the heads. So to tell you the truth, I don't have time to tell you about the French Revolution. It's 2024. It's been 6 years of the new French Revolution, number 4. And we're not happy. I could say we, I guess. Oui. That's a French word, isn't it? So me and my big wee and all the French frogs, we're pissed, dude. Why? Because you're not listening. And it's not like you or Trump or Macron. It's like everybody. Take account, take inventory of what's going on, and ask yourself if some tyrannical, oppressive government entity is sucking the life out of you. Because, I like to teach people how to do stuff, not just how to rebel against a horrible system. I like gardening. I like music. I like hanging out. I like, talking, I guess. Y'all already know. And so this is the first time I've ever talked in English about this subject, because I feel like no one cares. And the beauty of it is I have 750 friends. I have 3 different channels. I have 120 followers. I have 400 followers on my Facebook page. And there are 3 of you. And one of you is a friend that I called before the show. So at least one person would watch this show. And he's with his partner probably. So counting the cats, there's like 5-6 people watching. 5 or 6 people watching versus I'm connected to 700. Y'all, if we exponentially, go out of that circle, we're all connected vis-a-vis like 3 jumps to millions of people. How come the US chooses to deny the truth and the reality of the phenomenon called les gilets jaunes? And if y'all don't know how to pronounce it, say gilets jaunes. I don't give a fuck how you pronounce it. Wake up. They're here and they're not killing anybody. And they're asking for you to reach and to take their hand so we could walk this path of dissidence towards a better tomorrow. There's no leader. It is apolitical, and it is about power to purchase basic necessities and the référendum d'initiative citoyenne, which in English is the citizen initiative referendum, which is to put up to a vote your laws and regulations. And I guess I'm going to YouTube this for you because you might not believe that. I'm not making this up. Like de Gaulle. There we go. I have to Google these things because I'm going kind of nuts here. I'm like, how come we keep going and no one cares? Ric Charles de Gaulle. There we go. So Charles de Gaulle. I don't know if there's any footage of it. Oh, well, it sucks. I could show you this. It's just not going to be much of a pizzazz, but let's share this screen for a second. So for y'all who don't know, Charles de Gaulle, sorry, if some of y'all know, then don't get mad. Charles de Gaulle was the French president after World War II. And here you see him, a great leader. He was a tall guy. They said he was a grand man. Cool. So here you have him. Voilà, Charles de Gaulle. So Charles de Gaulle put up his presidency up to a vote, and they voted him out after Algeria. He said, we want a French Algeria. Nous voulons une Algérie française. And like 2 weeks later, I don't know, do y'all know about Algeria in America? So y'all think, colonization is only the British. The French people are pretty good at it. But when they go, they don't have a plan B for once the people want to get you the fuck out. So what happened was you had a libération Like you had like the liberation of Algeria by the Algerian people who were starting to behead people and take people's guts out and hang them over like chandeliers just to prove a point. And then you have l'Organisation de l'Armée Secrète, OAS. You had the French legions who did not want to leave Algeria. I'm explaining to you guys a strict point. It is, what is the Citizens Initiative referendum? So after Algeria, which gained its independence from France eventually, basically Charles de Gaulle was voted out. And in 1946, he was voted unanimously in as president. But I think it was like 1964 or something. He was voted out. And the funny thing is, he was one of the most charismatic leaders. He did not deviate into fascism, communism, Nazism, totalitarianism. He was a very strong leader, very charismatic. And in the end, we're left with like this big like void where we have all these presidents pretending to be like at the height of Charles de Gaulle. And Charles de Gaulle, like, put his vote up to a presidency. I'm trying to explain to y'all. We need to do that in France. Le RIC, le Référendum d'Initiative Citoyenne. I know I sound repetitive, but if we could just put Macron and all the laws that we obey in France up to a vote, like maybe, and just maybe, we would feel like it's more, you guys use equity in English? That's not really a word. Équitable in French means fair. So let me say it in English. Maybe it could be more fair to the people of France if they could have a say in the matter. As we preach to be bringing democracy to Iraq and all these great places in the world where they totally need us, can we actually do democracy? Or is it a utopia? Is it a utopian thought to think that people can have a say in what happens to them? Because we don't have a lot of time left. Like, we have real crazy technocrats who want to sell us cockroach candy bars, put us in 15-minute cities, and tell us it's the law, just obey. And then they don't really need to justify this oppression. And then we have like French people and people all over the world, if you didn't know, like walking in the streets wearing yellow, saying, dude, I'm done. This is too much. I've had it up to here. I'm fed up. We can't survive on crumbs. We want the whole baguette. And when you want the whole baguette, the analogy behind walking to Versailles and taking the king back to Paris was that we need bread. Like, you are like the baker of this country. And because of your taxes, we should remember taxes are a pretty important game people play. Because of the taxes, people couldn't afford bread. People couldn't afford salt. People couldn't afford basic necessities. And this is back in 1789 when they went and got Louis XVI from his house, brought him back to Paris. There was this big feeling of, we did it. And then they didn't know what to do with him. So I don't know if you guys understand that he tried to escape France and he got caught in like Amsterdam or like Varennes or something like that. I wonder if I could play the clip for you. It's a cool clip. I mean, I gotta watch too much TV, guys. Watch out. We're gonna get nerdy with it. So what happened was they put him on trial. And by putting him on trial, what they did was pretty funny. La Révolution Française, they put him on trial. And eventually, because of what I showed you earlier, because of that day on the Champ de Mars, which was the name of the battlefield, because of that peaceful protest that was repressed violently by the, institutional violence, the Robespierre, you guys know who Robespierre is? Robespierre is a lawyer. They call him the Incorruptible. And anyways, it's just a long story where like he quotes that day where they shot down innocent civilians who were defenseless as like the reason why we could go through and behead the king. So it is quite weird that, we're in this together. We're all human. Some people have privilege, some people don't. But in the end, if we could just remind ourselves that like there's like some inherent like worth. I'm trying to find the clip. Now I don't know where the clip is. So he tries to escape and goes to Varennes and it doesn't go very well. I think it's in part 2. So I'm sorry. It's not like letting me find the thing very well. But I mean, for me, there's just like this real need to like overthrow the tyranny. And I mean, the tyranny back then was the price of bread and the taxes, and people couldn't eat and stuff. The tyranny now is different. It's this whole like, are you woke enough? Are you going to get canceled? Should you self-censor? Are you left or right? Should we go and lynch you or something? People are nuts, dude. This is what a lynch mob looked like during the French Revolution, man. They're ready.
Votre Majesté, Pierre Roederer, procureur syndic du département. Je suis venu m'assurer de la sécurité de Votre Majesté.
C'est admirable que tant de gens se soucient de ma sécurité.
So the king is like, oh, it's awesome. Everybody's worried about my safety. Oh, how cute. And like, he doesn't know they're about to take the guy back to Paris. So this is the cute French teacher who's dressed up like a revolutionary. She's the one that wrecked my life. I kind of literally like lost all will to major in French. And she's super cute. I don't know if you could tell. Like, I had a major crush on my French teacher. But she thinks she's a revolutionary because that's all she studies for her PhD. I think PhDs are full of shit. But I just want to show you, like, there's no way that resembles this. Like, when you look at this, that is not. Oh, let me take the sound. This is not the same thing you just saw. This is not a bunch of angry fisherman ladies attacking people with fish gutting knives, fish women, I guess. It's people, if you read it, it says le ric. That's all it says. So as people say very simple things is what we want, no one's listening. And if you hear the song, they're like, Emmanuel Macron, with your big ass head of an idiot, avec ta grosse tête de con. We're coming to get you at your house. That's what he says. I'm just translating a French song. So if you were the French president and you're not a hologram, you're not a clone, you don't work for the Illuminati, you're not a New World Order, what the hell are you doing? I mean, isn't the fact that 6 years of every Saturday until COVID, until the lockdowns, every Saturday was a peaceful protest for 6 years, and you haven't listened to a single one of their honest grievances about the power to purchase basic necessities, their request for a referendum where they could vote their own laws and their leaders. And beyond that, just like overall, like hear us out. And so I was trying to describe on this podcast 3 or 4 things. First is November 18th, 2018. Google it. Second is Notre Dame de Paris. The third is in between the two, Notre Dame and the 18th of November. Notre Dame was like, I think it was May 5th, 2019, if I believe correctly, because that was the date he was supposed to answer all the other complaints. And the complaints that he gathered were from the mayors, some of which know quite a few gilets jaunes, right? But none of the mayors wore a gilet jaune in this assembly. And by touring all the little departments of France and gathering complaints from all these assemblies, he basically gave you what you wanted to hear, which is a bunch of lies. So he just said what you wanted to hear. And so as the French president, like, keeps trying to go forth with perpetuating the rottening of the reputation of the Gilets jaunes, I laugh because I'm like, dude, like, it's not working. Like, you can't tell 80% of your population that they're too dumb because they should have gotten a better job or should have stayed in school, or like they're just like, oh, poor little me victim, when like, and then they get violent. So all of them are therefore violent. So he's called them violent thugs who aren't worth talking to. I could fish that up. I mean, there's samples of them talking. The cops were so bad and they were beating the shit out of people. And people have lost arms and legs and eyeballs by the hundreds in order to protect the sovereignty of the French citizens' right to purchase basic necessities and vote and have their voice count. So in between November 18th, the start of the Gilets jaunes, and second, which was fuck was it? Notre Dame de Paris, this coincidental burning up of the, incendiary thing for a cigarette, when how many cigarettes have been smoked on top of Notre Dame, meanwhile never lighting it on fire. And I don't want to show you again. It's traumatic, but maybe I'll show you again. There was really bad fires at Notre Dame. And the funny thing is, nobody was allowed to speculate on their origin. Like nobody was allowed to say like this fire is a terrorist attack. This fire was done by somebody. This fire, I mean, it's really weird. Like Notre Dame de Paris fire. There we go. So there we go. We have the NBC New York. Let's watch NBC New York about it. This is about 5 years ago, 2019, before COVID, but not long before COVID. Fuck NBC. I hate NBC. But just so you know, like this is like bigger than 9/11 for France by far. And this is way more crooked. Like I was 10 years old when they like told me these 2 planes flew in a tower. And okay, whatever. I think people should Google the count of people dying in Iraq ever since 20 years ago. It's like 300,000 people died from our bombs, but like this one plane hits a tower and we got to go out there and kill the Sen. I don't want to say the N word, but it's like, I remember hearing people say very violent stuff in 2000. I moved here in 2003. People were not like peaceful. They were like, let's go. What is the album from Metallica? Was it Kill 'Em All? I think that was the mentality in Iraq. Was like, oh, let's even take Saddam Hussein. Wait, what's the difference between Obama bin Laden? That would be cool. Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is a leader of a country. He might be a totalitarian dictator. That's none of our fucking business. Now, George Sr. did not like Saddam Hussein. I think it was unfinished business, honestly. Then you have like this one guy the CIA trained to fight the Mujahideen. I have a book on the real story of bin Laden. I don't want to read it online. I'll get in trouble. But what's great is we train these people. And then like they said, oh, the imperialist Zionist bullshit. Like we need to take it down. And it's pretty funny. It's like, I think, it comes back to like, who gave you the power to say that like we don't matter, us the pleb? And in France, it's not really about Zionism. It's more about the elite. Osama bin Laden didn't like Zionism, I guess. That's what I gather now when I research it. It was like he was trying to like fight like the American, like geopolitical stranglehold on the world and like the dollar. And I don't know, dude. Like I feel like the more you study Osama bin Laden, the more you're like, they shot a defenseless guy 40 times in the chest. What the hell? We wanted some answers. What happened? What are the towers really you're doing? Prove it. Give me some evidence. Like, can we put you on death row or like life in jail and like ask you questions like Hannibal Lecter? Like there's there's like Daesh or something like, hey, Obama, like why don't you tell us about this other group? Because that could be helpful. Like instead, we found the guy. Cool. America. I'm so glad that we're free. But meanwhile, who profited from 20 years of the war in Iraq? Who got the poppy fields? Where is the CIA's black budget coming from? How do they operate like in the shadows? I think it's pretty obvious. The only reason people go to war is profit, is subjugation of the other people and taking away from those people the freedom to govern themselves. So if the French people are asking for un référendum d'initiative citoyenne, they're probably not going to get it. And the funny thing is, instead of getting that, there was the reform of the retirement in France, which is really bad. So you basically went from working until 64 to like now you have to work even longer. And if you ever take a break, a gap year, you don't get as much. And the SMIC, which is like the basic minimum income of retired people, is only about 1,100 euros. Now, rent on average is like 1,500 euros in Europe. So if you live like next to some little old lady and you're like some hot young stud who's paying 800 a month, have mercy. She probably doesn't like your music, but she probably can't afford to live anywhere else, because how do you pay for food if rent itself is more expensive than the minimum that you're getting? So there's three things that pissed off the Gilets jaunes, but the main thing was we can't purchase basic necessities. That's gas. Remember the COVID? We had toilet paper, we had toothpaste, we have things like that become way overpriced, and we can't keep up. We can't keep up. We can't earn enough money to have a comfortable life. And it's not sustainable. As much as the reason that they're charging more money for gas is so-called sustainability, it really does not add up. Like, you do the math. You say, this is one cough drop, okay? This is another cough drop. So now I have two. And if I have 3 cough drops, I have 3. But if every time, like, I tell you I have a cough drop, I'm using the same cough drop, I'm like, here's one, and here's a second one, and here's a third one. I'm not really holding 3 cough drops. So when people say that taking gas emissions out of commission will help save the environment, I guess. But, like, how the hell are people going to get to work? You know what I mean? So in the end, that's all it is people need to get from A to B. People can't afford to buy a new Tesla. And I don't know if you guys understand that cobalt mining is not sustainable. So this is not like an angry rant against all Americans. I'm just kind of like shocked that like no one really cares about the Gilets jaunes in America. And I'm speaking from my heart. It's not something you guys care about. Anyone who's involved in international politics probably has like a little affinity, but there has not been a single protest in America in 6 years in support of the Gilets jaunes. So there's got to be a healthy, happy halfway there where we're all just kind of helping each other, kind of, but no one's really, really like living at each other's houses per se. And so I believe that life in general can't be solved by institutional violence and, reprimanding these peaceful protesters who are brave, honestly. Like, they're going out there, they're brave, they're putting their lives on the line. A lot of them have lost an eyeball. A lot of them have lost an arm. I don't want to show you footage. You can go Google it. In French, it's spelled éborgné. So you could say someone who's mutilated, but in France, there's been a lot of people mutilated by the repercussions of the Gilets jaunes being repressed by the police. And I watched a lot of it. I don't know if it's appropriate on YouTube to show you police violence, but this is just a water cannon, right? So this is cute. It's like you're having a super soaker fight, right? But it never really calms people down to get sprayed with a giant spring of water like that. Canon à eau. That's what you call it, water cannon. Okay, so there we go. And honestly, guys, it's kind of hard to watch. But if you saw in America, it's not violent, but it's just kind of hard to watch. If you saw in America, there was the standing North Dakota pipeline. There was the water bearers, right? And here you have what it looks like in France, and it's been 6 years. And you think this is like easy, peaceful? This is the other kind of peaceful. This is peaceful to where people have been sucking in this tear gas. And there you go. There you go. The giant water cannons. Look at that guy. He's ready, dude. I mean, when you have no fear of death and you're ready to just get shot, like, there's a real strength in that. I'm just letting you know. This guy was looking at the cops going, fuck you, spray me again with this giant hose. I love that guy. I want that guy to come home with me. I'll go gay for that guy because he's got guts. I'm not, whatever. No one wants me to go gay for them anyways. But like, look at those people like, oh yeah, shoot that guy. Look, he's got a fucking umbrella. Get him, get him. Like, these people have a special spot in hell because you're on behalf of this government. You're giving everybody a bad name. And the irony of what people are trying to hide from you is that it's too much to hide. I can't even believe they hid this much from you all. Like, no one here cares, you know? So in the end, there's just like a lot of people saying that, oh yeah, it's the Gilets jaunes who are violent. Yeah, sure. You know why people get that angry? It's because there's nothing else to do. And most of the time, their prayers go unanswered. And all this stuff you're seeing is made by the cops. I guarantee you. Agent provocateur is a French word. So it's an agent who provokes chaos. And you have this paparazzi who comes and films, what's going on. So one of the reasons France has been able to say that protests in the Gilets jaunes were violent is because of this stupid restaurant, which I'll show you. I'm not ashamed of saying, maybe I'm being lied to and the Gilets jaunes is a French psyop from the citizens, but Le Fouquet. Let's go. Le Fouquet. Because if you see like this building, you'll be like, oh, they're so violent. Yeah, but think about it. Not 6 years, there's only been one restaurant burnt down. Look at it. I mean, I'm not being an advocate for violence, by the way. I'm just trying to let you know, like Le Fouquet. Well, it's okay. You want to see this? This is what it looks like on a day to day. Oops, sorry. Commercial. Basically, Le Fouquet was a very expensive restaurant. And will it play? Will it not play? I don't know. At least Kamala Harris isn't popping up on every single ad anymore. I don't hate her. I just think she's dumb. So I think everybody's dumb. I think anyone who votes is retarded. Come on, prove me wrong. So here you have Le Fouquet. Sorry, everyone who votes is great. You guys are smarter than me. I get it. Y'all know who to vote for, right? The Fouquet. That is the Fouquet. Okay? So, period. Pause. Why are you showing us this, Julian? Well, now we're going to show you what it looked like when they burned it down. Because it looks very suspiciously much like a cop did it. But, Sanji. There we go. So you guys want to know why I'm angry that I'm being portrayed as a violent fuckhead when really like it's got to be the cops who did this, because this restaurant is really like a statement of the opulence and the superiority of rich French people who go out to eat expensive meals. So let's go. Let's watch this. It's the same exact restaurant you just saw, by the way.
Oh non, laisse Alexis, il est bon au pied.
I've been watching millions of these videos for fucking 6 years now. No, the Fouquet's is $150 a plate. Isn't it just meant to go up in flames? Like, it's not sustainable, bro. You want me to prove it? Okay, let's do it. I'm so mad at myself for sounding like I'm full of shit. I will prove it, dude. I will prove it. And maybe it's not that much. You know what? But maybe it's not that much. So it opened in 1899, and it's just been super fancy schmancy since then. Okay, well, let's go. Let's prove it. Okay, so the Fouquet that went up in flames early in the Gilets jaunes was a piece of shit thing. And like, there's no way that the Gilets jaunes really did this. It's an expensive restaurant. Menu, there we go. Okay, take a seat, the Hard Golden Triangle. Okay, just give me a menu. Is it a menu? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. So we're in the breakfast, lunch, and dinner of the Fouquet's, and we're looking. Okay, so there we go. For a sandwich, and croque madame, as you see this over here, croque monsieur, croque madame, that's a sandwich. Yo, that's a sandwich. Okay, so it's not $120 a plate. I'm sorry. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? Should I zoom in? $26 for a piece of bread and cheese, dude. Croque monsieur is like melted cheese on bread. Okay, hamburger. You see the hamburger cheeseburger, $38. And if you want bacon, it's €4. Okay, this is euros. Let's do the euros conversion. 38 euros for a hamburger equals $60. Let's just guess. I don't remember the conversion number, but apparently, I don't know. Euros are pretty good in dollars right now. So would you pay $45 for a fucking hamburger? No. So the Fouquet went up in flames. I have one thing to say about that. Who fucking cares? Like, the shit was too expensive anyways. And I don't know if you guys know how insurance works. When people who are protesting light your building on fire, I think you get it back. So basically, the stunt of telling everybody on TV that was still at home that the Gilets jaunes are going to burn down your house and kill the grandmothers and rape the little children and eat babies just didn't work. It didn't work on me. It didn't work on many people. And hopefully it won't work on you. There's 3 people watching this. I hope you're not all FBI agents trying to fucking kill me. So that's great. So we're here, we're hanging out. I'm not that paranoid. I just feel like there is a suppression and a censorship over this subject, unprecedented amounts of like information. And every single person in the street basically has a cell phone and is always filming. And somehow it sounds like, from what I gather, no American person that I know who isn't involved in international politics, that being said, no one I know cares, knows, or wants to figure out anything about the Gilets jaunes. They're just a bunch of violent thugs and they're out here to kill people and eat babies. I guess. I mean, is that what you guys said? So like this girl, she teaches French Revolution. Sorry, I guess I'm not supposed to show you my French teacher. I dropped the class because she says I can't write. I write like a fucking idiot. And she was going to give me an F. So I dropped the class. But she's cute. So she dressed up like a revolutionary. She spent like a year abroad and a year or two in France. And she doesn't even know what the Gilets jaunes are. She's at the PhD level. She's 30 years old. She's dressed up like a revolutionary. She reads Rousseau and all these fucking assholes. And like, she doesn't know what a Gilet jaune is. There's more than one, guys. So give me the faith that like, I'm not just boring you guys to death. I have 4 minutes left before exactly an hour. We're going to be classy and keep this under an hour. There's no real answer to like what I'm bringing up. Like there's just educate yourself or miss the mark. What I'm understanding is they burnt down this one restaurant early on. They try to say that the movement ended there, but it just kept going and kept going and kept going. So in the end, I don't know, like what are we going to do if no one ever cares about anyone else and we're all just stuck isolationists at each other's house? Like, you know, I don't know, like it's not good. It's not good. I basically like don't want, well, you know what? There is a funny thing, but whatever. So I don't want to depress you guys. I want to give you guys faith in humanity and say, you know, like what I'm supposed to like gather is, you know, good advice. But this is 5 years ago from the British news about what the Gilets jaunes are and what they want. From what you've watched so far, tell me if they're not lying to you.
The pole of his flag is something Patrick can afford to lose. But there are things the 58-year-old is not ready to accept in modern-day France.
When we see people in the streets without a home, there's misery everywhere. The cost of living, everything is so expensive. Pensioners are struggling. It's hard for everyone.
But why do you blame Macron? What exactly is he doing?
Because Macron's an idiot.
No, we shouldn't speak like that.
Oh, really?
The fucking voiceovers are to die for. On devrait pas dire ça. Oh, we shouldn't speak like that. Macron is an idiot. Yeah, dude, they say worse things about him every day. And I'm honestly hoping they bring back the guillotine. You guys have like 2 minutes with me left. Does anyone have any questions? The Gilets jaunes, you're gonna not find anything on it. I guarantee you, it's all a bunch of lies. If you spoke French, you could ask a Gilet jaune, "What are you bitching about?" And they would say, "Rah rah 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 rah." And I'm wearing one, so you could ask me anything you want. I don't think there's anybody really wanting to come up on the show tonight. Maybe we'll have a show with some American people. Maybe I'll have my French teacher come by because she's hot. Oh, you know what? She's not my teacher anymore. I could say that. Dude, tell me you wouldn't tap that. I'm sorry. I don't say tap that often. But on Halloween, she dressed up in the French Revolutionary. And I was like, dude, can I get a picture? So the fact that she'll dress up and spend her whole life studying the French revolutions in the past and has no fucking idea of what's happening right now worries me. And the neglect and the censorship sickens me. And the fact that I need to take a shower and go DJ a gig comes up on my radar. So it's been 59 minutes, 1 minute left. What can I say? Thank you. Thank you. I'll shake it off. And I will hope with this giant organite that I could suck in all your woes and send them to another dimension. Thank you guys for watching. I have fucking 40 seconds left. The Gilets jaunes are a peaceful protest movement from November 18, 2018 that never killed anybody. And all the things that have been done needed to be done. I'm not justifying acts of violence. I'm telling you there is no violence. They're lying to you. And anytime there is violence, it's created by the government so they could shut down the movement. So don't let anyone tell you what to think. Go do your own research. Please tell me I'm crazy. I'd love to hear your commentary. Put it down there. Let me know. Do you want a hug? Do you want me to send you some prayers? Do you want me to just never do this again? Or do you want to just unfriend me and block me? Do all the things above. I don't give a shit. You should be doing your own thinking anyways. And the problem with the Gilets jaunes is there is no one in America who cares. So if you become Zorro and I become Zorro and I am Zorro, you are Zorro, then we will care. And if no one out here cares about the Gilets jaunes, good luck, because there's so much stuff coming at you. We need all the help we can get. We need solidarity and mutual aid. We need to help each other from depression and suicidal thoughts because the system is fucked. People, wake up. If you don't think the system is fucked, I don't know how you stood the video this long. Like, this video is an hour of me talking about how fucked the system is. So if YouTube and Facebook don't like my cussing, put a like adult warning content on it, but I don't give a shit. So I love you and them and them and them. Still have a thing for my French teacher, so don't tell her. But what's great is she fired me. So she technically, if she wasn't engaged, could go on a date with me. I'm such a bad boy. Okay, so here we are. The Gilets jaunes 2024, November 16th. It's Saturday. Technically, not tomorrow, the next day. November 18th is the anniversary. So we'll do another show. We'll give you guys a day break. I know people are sick of me already. And 2 days from now, we'll do a real anniversary show showing that no one even noticed the Gilets jaunes in 6 entire years of peaceful protest within the American continent. So if we could review the last 5-6 years before COVID and ask ourselves, what is it that I wanted to do with myself? And ask yourself, if you want to join a movement that's peaceful, with no leader, that's apolitical, closest thing to functioning anarchy I've ever seen, you better just say, hey, I want to be French. Teach me how to be a frog. And I will answer the call and I'll be there. Besides that, I have nothing but love for y'all. And I wish you the best tonight. Thank you for obliging my thoughts and my speech and my mind as I'm telling you things that just come up. And we YouTube some things together. I hope you understand more about the French Revolution, about the current revolution of the Gilets jaunes. And I hope that in the end, when this culminates and follows through to its desired goal, you will use their example of achieving freedom to better your own life. That being said, I hope everyone's doing good out there in the internet world and that you keep the peace. Thank you for listening. Merci. À la prochaine. See you next time.